The final episode of Dutton Ranch is approaching fast, with less than 7 days remaining until it airs. The previous installment ended with Carter walking away from Beth and Rip, Roken abandoning the Jackson family entirely, and Beth and Rip uncovering the massive cattle theft operation running out of Mexico. All signs point toward an absolutely explosive conclusion that will leave viewers stunned. The newly released trailer for the finale suggests the long-standing bitter conflict between Rip and Rowell is finally about to reach its boiling point, and we may actually witness the complete collapse of Beulah Jackson's entire empire. With that in mind, let's dive deep into the trailer breakdown and explore some compelling theories about what is coming next. Here is everything you need to know about the Dutton Ranch Episode 9 trailer explained in detail. Please note that this analysis contains major spoilers. The preview for the upcoming episode begins with the next shipment of cattle arriving from the Jackson family's illegal Mexican operation. The timeline appears to be set approximately 2 days after the penultimate episode concluded, giving us a clear sense of exactly when the action unfolds. Rip and Beth are seen carefully observing the cattle delivery and inventory process when Rowell suddenly pulls up in his truck. This sets the stage for round 2 of their explosive confrontation, with Rip delivering a devastating verbal assault that cuts deep. Rowell appears significantly shaken and visibly intimidated by the exchange. Rip directly asks him whether he is involved in drug trafficking, to which Rowell replies that he would rather die than reveal anything to him. Beth follows up with a chilling remark, telling him he is already a dead man walking and his time is running out. This major development will take the series in an entirely new direction, revealing that the Jacksons are not only stealing cattle from Mexican ranches but are also running a separate and far more dangerous narcotics operation. There is strong reason to believe Beulah is fully aware of this criminal enterprise and may even be profiting from it. Beth and Rip initially agreed to work with Beulah under the impression that her ranch was a completely legitimate cattle operation. Over time, they have gradually uncovered the dark criminal underworld that Beulah actually controls behind closed doors. This revelation will likely demonstrate that despite owning a thriving ranch, Beulah has faced numerous hardships and financial difficulties over the years that forced her into desperate measures to survive, including cattle theft and potentially drug distribution. It appears she may be answering to someone higher up the criminal chain, leaving her trapped in this dangerous world with no easy way out. This could explain her eagerness to retire and her overall exhaustion, as the risks associated with her illegal activities are enormous. I believe we will see Beth and Rip becoming adversaries not only to Beulah but also to her criminal associates and the shadowy figures operating behind the scenes who pull all the strings. Following this, the trailer shows what appears to be Mariano issuing direct orders to Beulah in a commanding tone. This likely stems from Joaquin contacting him in the previous episode, and it seems deeply connected to the Mexican operation. Mariano may actually be the true mastermind behind the entire criminal network, which would explain why Beulah previously claimed he was dead to keep him hidden. Now that Beth and Rip have discovered the operation, they will likely attempt to shut it down immediately since they want absolutely no part of anything illegal, especially if it involves dangerous diseases that could devastate innocent ranches and ruin hard-working families across the region. Mariano warns Beulah that she must send her outsiders packing immediately, or he will handle the situation himself in his own brutal way. I interpret this as a direct reference to Beth and Rip, who are the newcomers at the 10-Petal Ranch. Since they are actively working to dismantle the operation, Mariano sees them as serious obstacles that need to be eliminated permanently. Mariano had a close working relationship with Beulah's father in the past, and as Beulah revealed several episodes ago, she absolutely despised her father. Given Mariano's former position of authority over Beulah, I suspect she will ultimately defer to him despite her pride, which explains why he seems to be the only person who can speak to her in such a commanding manner without consequence. The next segment of the trailer features Beulah telling Beth that they were both in a difficult position and had to make hard choices. This could indicate Beulah is preparing to remove Beth and Rip as Mariano demands, or it could represent a moment where Beth and Rip finally confront her about all the hidden operations she has been running behind their backs. Beulah has previously spoken about doing whatever was necessary to keep her ranch operational, and I believe this is where she will finally come completely clean when faced with the reality that her darkest secrets are fully exposed. After this scene, we see Rip declaring that their enemies want them dead, and Beth responding with fierce determination that they will get exactly what they are asking for. This intense exchange is accompanied by rapid-fire shots that build tension. One shows armed men advancing toward Beulah's residence on the ranch with clear hostile intent, while another captures Oriana screaming as if she has discovered something absolutely horrifying. Could Oriana be taken hostage by these attackers, or has she stumbled upon her father's remains? It would not be surprising if Rowell meets his end this season, as the narrative no longer seems to be building him up as the primary antagonist. That villain role appears to be shifting toward Mariano, so Oriana witnessing her father's death seems entirely plausible. Given his deep involvement in the narcotics world, his fate was likely sealed from the very beginning. Additionally, we see Beth, Zach, Rip, and Teeter arming themselves heavily and preparing to go on the offensive against those threatening Beulah's home and everyone inside it. I suspect this major confrontation will be tied directly to Mariano and his earlier chilling threat that if Beulah failed to remove the outsiders, he would take matters into his own hands. Since Beth and Rip are standing firmly in the way of his criminal enterprise, he may decide to eliminate them directly. I also believe Mariano will strongly oppose Rowell inheriting the ranch because he will not trust him to maintain the illegal operations. He probably views Rowell the same way he viewed Rowell's father, as worthless and unreliable, making cooperation impossible. The trailer also includes a tense shot of Beth raising her weapon toward Beulah upon her arrival, suggesting Beulah or her people will pose a direct threat. Furthermore, Everett is heard saying this will not be his final battle as he takes position on Beulah's porch, aiming at the approaching attackers with confidence. This scenario reminds me somewhat of Landman and the challenges Tommy Norris faced in the first season. I am hoping the storyline takes a different path and that Beth and Rip do not end up indebted to a cartel, as that would mirror the plot of Landman, another Taylor Sheridan production. The trailer concludes with Beth, Rip, Teeter, and Zach opening fire on the intruders, confirming that a violent shootout is imminent. While I desperately hope this does not happen, I have a sinking feeling that all of this may be leading toward Azul's tragic death, possibly during the chaotic shootout. The show has placed significant emphasis on his upcoming fatherhood, his son on the way, and his recent heartfelt efforts to build a crib. These narrative choices feel like classic foreshadowing that he will not get the happy ending he wants and truly deserves. With that, the trailer comes to an end. I do not believe Carter will have a substantial presence in this episode. He will likely be kept away from the escalating chaos for his own safety, and honestly, his involvement would only complicate matters. However, if Carter does find himself caught up in the unfolding violence, I wonder if it will connect to the dangerous situation Oriana may encounter. She essentially told Carter in episode 7 that he was not a real man. So I wonder if he will end up rescuing her from trouble as a way to prove her wrong. Perhaps he will be forced to take a life for the first time, and that moment will become his major turning point. As Rip once said, it is about what Carter does to rebuild himself afterward, and depending on his actions, he could either follow in Rip's footsteps or descend into a darker path.